Okay, good morning. This is Dr. David A. Padgett. This is Weather and Climate, Geography 3500, and today is February 9th, 2021. And so we're in week 3 now, and so I'm going to start off with a discussion of the outdoor weather data collection assignment and the weather data mapping assignment. And I may have to make some decisions moving forward. I know we had some people that added late and might not have had enough time to complete the second assignment, um, definitely. So I'm going to go into the Dropbox here. And for the most part, uh, you all did a decent job with the weather data collection. But just one thing I'd like to point out is that in a science-based course, you should always include data in your answer. So in answering this question, compare the cloud cover percentage, precipitation, barometric pressure, et cetera, at your National Weather Service station at the same day and time that you took your observations, that you notice any significant differences in the data, so on and so forth. Um, I would have liked to have seen more detail here. But the good part about this answer is that this individual did state the specific data here. So we want quantitative answers like this one. And also notice that, well, this should be 30.5 millibars and 30.2 millibars. So two things here. You should always include the units in your answers. So I don't know what 30.5, 30.05 is. Is that inches? I mean, what is that? So it should be millibars here and here. And then he correctly mentioned. But what I would want here is more data. I asked for temperature, cloud cover percentage, precipitation, barometric pressure, but I don't see any of that in this answer. Okay, so that's number one. When you just consider what your answers are going to be, but at least some data was included, but not all the data. So in the future, if I ask for data in an answer, the data should be in the answer. So uh, if there were no significant differences between its two stations, of course they were worth noting. I mean, this is a science class, so you should note, any data in your answer. So that one is also in terms of latitude and longitude. Most of you all correctly posted your latitude and longitude in decimal degrees. Let's see here. See, so we have Garrett's here. So he's got his National Weather Service site. That long here. Let's see where this is. Oh, it's Nashville, John C. Toon Airport. And all right, let me stop my share here for a minute. This is so annoying. Okay, so, oh man. Okay, let me go back here. Here we go. All right, so we have that. Then of course here Ross correctly has latitude and longitude in decimal degrees instead of degrees, minutes, and seconds. Um, and let's see, is this okay? This is January 26th. Interesting result here. See the satellite got approximately the same cloud cover percentage as Garrett got. A few isolated high level clouds, but like I said, it's very somewhat difficult to get exactly an exact match here, and not that the Garrett's observations were wrong. It just it might not necessarily have been the exact location as the satellite. So again, for this answer, I would like to have seen, what are the percentages? So any data need to be in your answer. NASA said that the percentages were, and just list them just as they're in the chart there, just for future reference. Yeah, same thing here. In terms of the data that was asked for, should be in your answer, even if it's straightforward. Even if it seems to be straightforward, you always include data with your units in your answer. See, this is a qualitative answer, not quantitative. Even the word difference is a mathematical term. So I would like to know, well, what is the difference in temperature, barometric pressure, wind speed, and humidity? So you should just simply list them. The National Weather Service station temperature was X. The local weather station temperature was Y, and so on and so forth. And then you can make your qualitative references. Okay. Okay, so let's see. And now I have to switch sections here. This is probably going to be an image, I imagine. And okay. Another image. Okay, so might have to make some executive decisions about this project. We will see. Okay, let's move on to the mapping assignment. And so as part of the mapping assignment, the part of the mission was, yes,
Sorry,
question?
but you were trying to open my work and it didn't open up.
Yeah, did you submit the answers to the questions?
Yes.
Oh, did you email those to me or did you put them in the Dropbox?
I put it in the Dropbox. And I just checked again just to be sure if I did, and it was there. That's why I'm confused.
Okay, let me go back here before I get into all of this. Let's see, Dropbox, assignment 1. Okay, here's the data sheet. And then this is the data sheet. Oh, okay. I clicked on that one thing twice. Okay, so this is the so you got the official Accra weather station. And there was one with Weather Underground. I see. It's interesting. Correct lat long in decimal degrees. And let's see, satellite match. This is interesting. The satellite appeared to pick up a lot more clouds. You said isolated 10 to 25%. So you got the percent cloud cover approximate, but then the satellite seemed to pick up a lot more medium, low, and high clouds. But it does say that they're transparent, translucent, so they might not have been that easy to see. And so here, Theodora does include the data in her description or in her answer, including the units. So this is a really good detailed comparison of what she observed here. And then again, she includes the data again in her answer. So that's exactly what I was looking for. Okay. Okay, so very well done there. So I'm going to go back to 3500 section. Okay, so the next thing that was the next assignment was the mapping assignment, and I know that one was a little bit challenging, perhaps. But the first thing that you all were supposed to do was to add data to this spreadsheet. And so we did finally wind up with 5 people contributing data to the spreadsheet. And so I'm going to take a look at, I attempted to take a look at what was turned in earlier. So I'm going to go into the Dropbox here. See what we have in terms of submissions. So we have the Okay. So I guess both of you who are here, if you could, I should have asked for this earlier, but if you could put the link to your maps in the chat, if you don't mind. Yeah, I know I should have asked for it, but I just didn't. But yeah, if you have the link to your maps in the chat, if you have the link to your maps, you put those in the chat, please, so that I can see the links to the maps that you created, and then I'll know where to go from here. Um, so okay, let's take a look at Theodora's map. Okay, so this map was made with the data that was available probably on Friday. And apparently a couple more people added data, but this is a good job. As you can see, when we zoom all the way in, we can see the differences in temperatures recorded on Nashville's campus on different days. What's this? Oh, wait a minute. Apparently there, let me go to the, oh, so this one actually has four sites. So we have Ashley site, Jacob site, and it looks like let's see, Ashley M went out on the January 30th at 7:30 a.m. And then see, Rawls went out on January 29th at 1:06 p.m. And notice that on different, just one day apart, how much the atmospheric conditions changed, but it but the temperature was almost exactly the same over that 2 day period, 3 degrees Celsius. Um, let's see. So let's see. Let me close this. Let me do something from here. I'm going to pause the recording for just a second. Okay, so now we are continuing to record, and I have Theodora's map on the screen, and now I'm going to put Garrett's map on the screen. Okay, that. Oh, okay, you've got both layers. Okay, so I'm going to change the space map. And get this layer out of there. Okay, so we have on Garrett's map the data for, I guess it was 3 students. And of course, we probably have, I'm sure we have Theodora's data, yeah, here in Accra on this map. But in addition to that, we have the data for Detroit.
Dr. Padgett,
Yes.
please, your screen is not being shared.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right. So here we have this is Garrett's map, and he has the data for the various Globe schools in Detroit. And if we scroll out, we zoom out, we also see that he has the data for the outdoor weather collection. And so if we go back into okay, so
Question.
yes,
The data for the Detroit school was supposed to be on the same map as the data we collected.
didn't
Or
have to
separate.
be, but it would make it a lot more convenient. But did you have it on 2 different maps?
Yes. Yeah, so I'll just make it one because I think it's more like comparing all the data. It makes it easier.
Yeah, your data. Okay, so let's look at the data for Detroit. And so Garrett says that cumulus and altostratus clouds tend to form in lower temperatures. Perhaps. I mean, that could be. Is there a relationship between current temperature and land cover at each student site? Okay, so apparently there's a relationship between cloud cover and temperature. Let's see if we can note that. Probably can. We probably can. So here is where we had the. Wait a minute. Hold it. Maybe I'm in the wrong. Okay, this is. Just one moment. Okay. Back to see. Oh, this is the. I'm sorry. This is the weather. The globe weather data collection. All right. So can we see a difference between the. Okay. Well, actually, this question asks: is there a relationship between the current temperature and land cover? So. Um, so we're not looking at this. We're looking at this. Probably here. but all these locations are on campus. I mean, this was more or less the difference between Garrett Ross's data and Ashley's data is mostly due to the fact that these data were collected on different days, and there was a significant difference in temperature between those days, as I remember. Um, so let's look at let's look at let's see. I believe this is to zoom all the way in and see whose map this is. I'm thinking this is Theodora's map. Yeah, so this is Theodora's map. Um, in terms of land cover, and later on we're going to talk about climate controls, but one of the obvious climate controls here is latitude. So notice that Accra is only 5 degrees north of the equator as opposed to where we are in Nashville at about 38 degrees north, I believe. 36 degrees north of the equator. So latitude is one of the primary climate controls. Um, then also, if we zoom in and change the base map here, and we zoom in really, really closely, we can see just really how densely populated this area is, and not a whole lot of green space. Some green space, but not as much green space as we observed in Nashville. So we can even see a difference even with the satellite imagery, looking at the land cover from a great distance. What one would not expect that, I mean, someone who has not traveled would not expect to have a much greener, so to speak, area. But, between the latitude and the land cover, you can see why Theodora's data wound up having a much higher temperature, or Theodora's observations, resulted in a much higher temperature. So one thing that I am going to do is I'm going to, maybe I shouldn't do this. Okay, so here's the data from everybody after everybody filled out the spreadsheet. And I'm going to download the data first in Excel format. I think everything here is copacetic. I need to just for my own peace of mind Just change the font. Hopefully that won't interfere with any of the code in the spreadsheet. So it looks like everybody filled out their data well enough. So now I'm gonna file, save as, don't know where. So I'm just gonna take these data first. I'm gonna save it as an Excel spreadsheet. And I think you all did a pretty good job of converting the data, getting into the proper format. And now I'm going to save it again. And now I'm going to get back into my site and add the data. Actually, I'm going to go into content so I can get into the same layer so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Open it up. So now I'm going to add the layer that has all 5 students' data. Here it is. Okay, so now we have all 5 students' data. Just to see where we are. Looks like 3 of the students were in Nashville. So once again, I'm going to share this map in the chat so you all can examine it. Okay, so that's the updated map with everybody's data. Get that out of there. So these are just the data collection points. So 3 students on campus. And then we had 1 student that was apparently in Atlanta or outside of Atlanta. And then we can just change this to a different attribute. We can change this to, there are lots of different choices that we can make. If we just go to current temperature, zoom out. This is interesting. So we still had Garrett with 16 degrees Celsius finding there. And here in Atlanta, only just barely above freezing, 1 degree Celsius, but that was on the same day. Well, this is at 11:30 at night. Okay. but this was on approximately the same day, the 29th of January. So apparently there was some relatively cold air across this region during that time. But also you'll notice that this area is very much covered with trees, not nearly as heavily, not nearly as densely populated as the section of Accra where Theodora is, but again, much higher latitude. So I'm thinking what I might do is extend the deadline for this assignment perhaps to Thursday. With some modifications. One of the modifications is going to be for this third part of the assignment. The story maps. I tried to demonstrate that last Thursday and Friday. I finally figured it out. And so the story map is here. I would like for you to have been able to do it, but it was a bit much. But I do have a link to that map here. So this is the story map. So I just moved forward and did it myself. Maybe later on in the class, we'll work on the story map, but I still want you to answer the questions related to the story map. So I'm going to put just for right now, I'm going to put the link to the story map in the chat. So I'm going to put the link here. Let me make sure that's the right link. I'll just share. I guess that's the right link. Just wanted to make absolutely sure. Okay, so this is a link to the Detroit Globe data story map. And so, so what I did was pulled the data for each of the Globe sites outside of Detroit. And actually just pulled these graphs right off of the Globe webpage, saved them as JPEGs, and then went through the process of entering them into the story map. And so those are the instructions for building a story map. The instructions are here, and it's pretty straightforward, but it's just not an easy process. So I'm mostly interested in your being able to read the climagraphs, then becoming a expert story map creator. So here are the various questions that can be answered as you make observations of these various climagraphs. So the climagraphs represent, in this case, these are climagraphs that include only temperature. And really just do your best to take a look, look at the climagraphs. Couple points of information. You'll notice that some of the data are not complete. And that's simply because the weather station may have malfunctioned or might not have been on, or the power might have been off. Um, and so make note of the temperature in degrees Celsius over the 3 month period, June 1 to September 1st, 2019. Those are the 3 hottest months of the year observed in Detroit. And so the objective is to see if there's a notable difference amongst these three places. You also do have the Detroit data at your disposal. Um, uh, so you do have the Detroit area data at your disposal. And as you can see, there isn't really a significant difference amongst the various weather stations. I mean, there is a significant difference between the Wayne County um, Ressa location and the Crestwood High School site that you might, this makes it much easier to visualize even than these graphs in the story map. But you can still get an idea of the general trends in temperature across the 3 months from one site to the next as you click through the climate graphs. And then you can, make whatever assessments you want based upon land cover, et cetera, et cetera. And again, if you see data like this that's missing, that's only because this weather station might have been down during that period of time. So what I want to do is between now and the middle of the day today is I'm going to extend the deadline somewhat with instructions for the first two assignments. And then we'll come back and discuss them in much greater detail on Thursday. But just look out for the updated um, assignment extension. So, but for the most part, for the first part of the assignment, well, for the first assignment, which was just to do the outdoor weather data collecting, I think most people did a good job with that. Just want you to revisit your answers in terms of including more quantitative data, more quantitative assessment. Um, Also for the mapping assignment, I think those of you who were able to complete it, did a decent job with what you have, but then just go back and look at your analyses in more detail. And then for the third part of the mapping assignment, you should just use the story map that I've created in order to answer those last several questions. Um, so I know that the deadline is going to be extended, but you do have another assignment this week, you probably noticed, which is more or less not, it's just an essay assignment. And so in this case, you will watch this video, 6 Degrees Could Change the World. It speaks about global warming. So a lot of what we've been looking at thus far is very just technical, taking observations of atmospheric phenomena and conducting some form of analysis, looking at ambient temperatures, looking at surface temperatures, um, and then coming to some gross conclusions about how different temperatures in different areas might be affected by cloud cover, maybe affected by land cover, maybe affected by latitude or other things. But when we get into this assignment, uh, now we're getting into more policy oriented side of climatology. And so now we're getting into um, how human activities may be impacting atmospheric temperatures and what are we going to do about it, or what is being done about it, from a policy standpoint and from a technological standpoint. And there are some technological solutions. So you watch the video, then you'll write a 600 or more word essay. And again, in my classes, when I say write a 600 word essay or a 500 word essay, that 500 or 600 is the minimum. That's not a max. That's not just a be close to this. I don't care if you write 1,200 words. That's fine. What I don't want is 300 words. Okay. just be aware that 600 is a minimum. Now, if you are a very concise writer and you can squeeze all of that into 600 words, fine. Some people are just very straight to the point, but the content has to be there. The meat has to be on the sandwich, regardless of the type of sandwich. So 600 words or more. If it takes you 900 words to answer these questions, no problem. That's fine. I just want to point that out to everyone. Okay, so what's going to happen from this point forward is I'm going to amend and extend the first two assignments and see what we can put together. So just wait for that amendment. I'm going to do it in the next few minutes. And then we'll come back on Thursday and get into a deeper discussion about the first two assignments. All right. So I'm going to stop recording now.